The Snowy Mountains scheme, completed in 1974, was hailed as one of Australia's greatest engineering feats. Decades later, in 2017, it seemed history was about to repeat itself. The government unveiled an ambitious plan, Snowy 2.0, a $1.5 billion expansion to boost renewable energy. But fast forward to today, and that price tag has ballooned to a staggering $8 billion, with delays stacking up like a house of cards. Is this grand Australian green energy project on the brink of becoming a colossal disaster? Let's dive into the story behind Snowy 2.0, a project that was supposed to be a cornerstone of Australia's clean energy future. The original Snowy Mountains scheme was already a massive undertaking: 16 major dams, 8 power stations, and a labyrinth of tunnels and aqueducts providing electricity and irrigation to the nation for decades. Snowy 2.0 was meant to build on this foundation. But what exactly is this mega project? Imagine a gigantic rechargeable battery for clean energy buried deep within the mountains. That's Snowy 2.0. Its heart lies in an underground power station nestled 1 kilometer beneath the surface. This station connects 2 existing reservoirs, Tantangara and Talbingo, via a vast network of tunnels stretching 17 miles. When there's surplus electricity from sources like solar and wind, that power pumps water uphill to the higher reservoir, essentially charging the battery. Later, when energy is in high demand, the water is released back downhill through the tunnels, spinning enormous turbines to generate electricity. This stored energy can power hundreds of thousands of homes for days, even when the skies are overcast or the wind refuses to blow. The initial promise was grand: a $1.5 billion investment, 2,200 megawatts of power added to the grid, and a massive 350,000 megawatt hours of energy storage, enough to light up 3 million homes for a week. To put that in perspective, a typical coal-fired power plant generates around 600 megawatts. Snowy 2.0 was meant to replace several such plants, lighting up a city the size of Sydney. But the dream was conceived not in the boardrooms of government, but in a far humbler setting, a local pub. Yes, you heard that right. The origin of this multi-billion-dollar project can be traced back to a couple of executives from Snowy Hydro, the company behind this grand venture, who brainstormed over beers at the Alpine Hotel in Cooma. On a simple coaster, they sketched the outline of what would become Snowy 2.0. It was based on an old blueprint to expand the original Snowy Hydro scheme. Little did they know that their pub-born idea would snowball into one of Australia's most ambitious and controversial infrastructure projects. At first, the idea seemed feasible, but that initial $1.5 billion budget, it didn't last long. By 2018, the cost had already doubled, hovering between $2.5 and $3 billion. Concerns were raised, red flags went up, key design elements were still undecided, and doubts about financial viability grew louder. The construction site buzzed with activity as massive machinery rolled in. 3 colossal tunnel boring machines, Florence, Kirsten, and Lady Eileen Hudson, were brought in to carve tunnels through the mountains. Expectations were high, but soon enough, the mountains revealed their formidable secrets. Florence, the tunnel boring machine assigned to excavate the main tunnel, hit trouble early on. Unexpected soft ground and complex geological formations slowed its progress to a crawl. Then came the dramatic incident in December 2022. Just 70 meters into its journey, Florence encountered a snag, literally. The machine became mired in unexpectedly soft soil, triggering a ground collapse and forming a 9-meter deep sinkhole. Work came to a standstill, and the project was thrown into chaos. It took months of extensive effort to stabilize the ground, with high-pressure water jetting used to free Florence. By December 2023, nearly a year later, Florence was back in action. But it didn't take long before it ran into more challenges. The hard, abrasive rock proved a relentless opponent, slowing the machine to a near halt. And in May 2024, it was stuck once again. Snowy Hydro faced fierce criticism for its handling of the situation. The company downplayed the severity of the issues, insisting that Florence was merely paused. This lack of transparency led to growing doubts about the project's management. The geological challenges also raised questions about the accuracy of the initial surveys. Should they have conducted more extensive drilling to fully understand the ground conditions before the work began? Many experts think so. The problems didn't end with the tunneling. Snowy 2.0 employed an observational approach. Designs were continuously tweaked based on what they found underground. While flexible in theory, this approach led to delays and skyrocketing costs. Building detailed 3D geology models took longer than expected, leaving the project in a state of constant revision, as if they were building a ship while still learning how to navigate. Add to that the impact of a global pandemic, and things got even tougher. Acquiring materials became a logistical nightmare, and finding skilled workers was like searching for a needle in a haystack. The project, already teetering on the brink, was pushed further behind schedule. The original completion date of 2024 was shattered. Now they estimate the first power will be generated by late 2027, with full commercial operation not expected until December 2028 at the earliest. Some experts predict it might even extend to 2030. As for the budget, the initial $1.5 billion has ballooned to an eye-watering $8 billion, with no guarantee that it won't climb higher. Then there's the environmental cost. Snowy 2.0 isn't just facing delays and financial overruns. It's nestled within the pristine Kosciuszko National Park. Millions of tons of rock, some containing acid-forming minerals and asbestos, are being excavated. Disposing of this waste into reservoirs and surrounding areas has raised alarm bells about water pollution and the potential impact on downstream ecosystems. Building new roads, transmission lines, and massive excavations disrupt sensitive habitats and geological features. Environmentalists fear the project could introduce invasive species, threatening the delicate alpine environment. Extensive tunneling could significantly lower the water table, drying up mountain streams and harming unique alpine bogs. The risk extends to introducing pests and diseases that could devastate native plants and animals. The safety of workers has also been called into question. In July 2023, a toxic gas leak in one of the tunnels where Florence was stalled brought the risks into sharp focus. This incident prompted investigations by regulators and added another layer of concern to an already embattled project. With costs spiraling and delays dragging on, experts are now questioning whether Snowy 2.0 is even the right solution for Australia's energy future. Advances in battery storage technology offer potentially more cost-effective and environmentally friendly alternatives to pumped hydro. Snowy 2.0's journey has been filled with ambition, setbacks, and controversy. Its future remains uncertain, leaving us questioning if this grand vision will ever be fully realized. What do you think, triumph or disaster? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this.